All right, let's get right into this one. You've got this guy, Arthur, a recent grad who gets stuck with his family's failing hardware store. It's called Apex Supply, it's in a city named Neon Bay, and honestly, the place is a disaster. It's dusty, cluttered, and about to go under. But here's the thing. Arthur has a secret, and an ego to match. So to prove it, Arthur goes online and makes this absolutely wild promise. He says, find anything, and I mean anything, under 1,000 yuan that he doesn't have in stock, and he will pay you 10 times what it's worth. Now you and I both know, that is exactly the kind of challenge the internet was made for. This is where the fun begins. So you're probably wondering, how on earth could he make a promise like that? Well, it turns out, the second he took over the store, this mysterious system just activated. It's called the Everything in Stock system, and it's pretty much magic. It can create any item a customer asks for, as long as Arthur has enough points from his sales. This is his ace in the hole, and it's why he's not afraid to take on the entire internet.
And you better believe the internet answered that call. Almost overnight, a crowd forms. These people all met on forums, and they have one mission: prove Arthur is a fake and take all his money. The gauntlet has officially been thrown down.
So, the first challenger steps up, looking super confident. He's not asking for a rare hammer or some obscure screw. No, he throws a total curveball. Do you have spicy hot pot? The whole crowd starts laughing. They think they've got him. The hardware store doesn't sell hot meals, right? Easy money. Arthur doesn't even flinch. His answer is just 2 letters, simple and calm. Yes. This one word just silences everyone. He disappears into the back and comes out with a steaming, ready-to-eat, deluxe hot pot combo. The challenger is just speechless. He has to pay the 100 yuan and walks away totally confused. And from there, the requests just get weirder and weirder. The next person asks for sanitary pads. So Arthur brings out a box that's literally half his size, filled with every brand you can imagine. Then, a student tries to trick him, asking for this year's college exam papers. Arthur, being smart, sidesteps the illegal part and instead produces a giant mountain of practice exams. And my favorite? A guy asks for premium cigarettes, which you need a license for. Not only does Arthur have them, but the system also generates a perfectly legal, brand new tobacco license for the store on the spot. So after he just shuts down every single person who comes at him, the store's reputation just explodes. It goes from being this funny internet meme to a full-blown local legend. And that's when the big guns start showing up. Not just professional fraud busters, but a famous food vlogger. And that changes everything. And you gotta love the so-called fraud-busting squads. These organized groups march in, all serious, asking for things like fancy skincare or life-size dolls, thinking there's no way he has this stuff. But every single time, Arthur has exactly what they want. So they're forced to buy the items, and they end up leaving completely defeated, but also as weirdly happy customers. Okay, this is where it gets real. A huge food vlogger, this guy named Chef Gordon, shows up. And he is not messing around. He orders a 4-course meal that's basically designed to be impossible. We're talking legendary dishes that challenge the best chefs in the world. This is a menu that shouldn't exist in any restaurant, let alone a dusty old hardware store. Not even 2 minutes later, Arthur walks out with all 4 dishes, and they are perfect. Chef Gordon is just stunned. He tastes everything live on camera, and his professional critical review quickly turns into him just raving about how amazing it is. That video goes viral, and suddenly Apex Supply isn't just a local story, it's a national sensation. You know, the city officials in Neon Bay, they're not dumb. They see the insane crowds, the tourism boom happening around this one little shop, so they do something really smart. They team up with Arthur to make his challenge an official, city-wide event. But this time the stakes are going to be way, way higher. And when I say higher stakes, I mean it. They jacked up the item limit from 1,000 yuan all the way to 100,000 yuan. The prize money for stumping Arthur is now a massive 10,000 yuan in cash sitting right there in a bulletproof glass case. The pressure is on and the whole country is tuned in.
The requests that come in during this official event are just mind-blowing. A collector wants a 10-year-old Lego set still in the original unopened box. Done. An astronomy nerd asks for a certified slice of a super rare meteorite. He's got it. An art connoisseur requests an original embroidery by a master who retired years ago. Arthur has it. Each time he delivers something that is basically priceless and impossible to just find.
So what's the big takeaway from this insane day? Well, Arthur earns a ton of system points, more than he's ever had before, and he finally has enough to do something huge. Upgrade his entire system to level 2, which unlocks a whole new world of crazy possibilities. You can see right here how he spent those points. I mean, the level 2 upgrade alone cost 100,000 points. That's massive. But look, with the points he had left over, he made another really important choice. He spent 3,000 to give the physical store a complete overnight makeover. So when people show up the next morning, they are just floored. The dim, grimy, oily-smelling little shop they knew is gone. In its place is this bright, sleek, modern showroom. Everything's organized, the tiny door is now these huge glass panels. The place looks and feels enormous and professional, and it happened overnight. It's totally unbelievable. But just when you think things might settle down into a new normal, a whole different kind of challenger shows up. This isn't some troll from the internet. This is a guy in a suit named Marcus. He's a purchasing manager for a Fortune 500 company, and the thing he's looking for is on another level entirely.
Marcus pulls out a holographic blueprint. I mean, look at this. He's not asking for a product you buy off a shelf. This is an ultra-specialized, custom-made industrial part with incredibly precise specs made from some super rare metal.
Okay, let me just spell out for you why this part is basically impossible to have in stock. The final design was approved in Germany yesterday. It's a one-of-a-kind piece. To make it, you'd need a rare, expensive machine and a special alloy. And even then, the fastest you could get it made is 20 days. This part should not exist in the physical world yet.
And after all that, what does Arthur say? By now, you probably know the answer. He takes one look at the crazy blueprint, thinks for a second, and then just calmly says, "Yes, I have it." A sentence that completely breaks the laws of manufacturing and logistics.
3 minutes later, Arthur comes back with the part. It's perfect, flawless. But here's the real kicker, the price. At 18,000 yuan, it's a tiny fraction of what it would have cost anywhere else. He didn't just find an impossible item. He just saved this huge company millions of dollars. This guy, Marcus, who walked in like a total pro, completely skeptical, he's just a convert. He's totally blown away. He hands over his business card, and you can see he's not looking at Apex Supply as a joke anymore. He sees it as a revolution in how the entire world gets the things it needs. And that's where we are now. Apex Supply isn't a hardware store anymore. It's a national landmark. There are red carpets on the street for the challengers. That partnership with the city is solid. Arthur went from being this broke graduate to a total legend, all because he promised he had everything. You know, this whole thing started with a joke about Hot Pot. Now, it's at a point where he's solving impossible industrial problems for giant companies. It really makes you wonder, what's next? What happens when the requests aren't for Legos or machine parts, but for solutions to the world's biggest problems?